Okay, let's dive in. Have you ever considered the true uncharted territories of human consciousness?
Hmm.
What if, uh, what if a declassified document from the U.S. Army Intelligence and Security Command held tangible clues to transcending our everyday physical reality?
That's quite a hook.
It is, right? Welcome to a deep dive into an extraordinary declassified report, the analysis and assessment of gateway process from the CIA's FOIA archives.
Right, the Freedom of Information Act files.
Exactly. Our mission today is to uncover the detailed technical explanations of how the gateway experience aims to alter consciousness, push past physical limitations,
Uh-huh.
and potentially even step outside the familiar confines of time and space.
Sounds like science fiction almost.
It does. But we're going to pull back the curtain on its precise mechanics, the surprising underlying physics, and the mind-bending implications.
Well, crucially, this is all drawn directly from the report's scientific framework.
Yes, exactly. Much of which, as the report details, is built on the biomedical models developed by Itzhak Bentov.
Yeah, Bentoff's work is central here. And look, this isn't about mere speculation, right? It's about trying to understand an incredibly fascinating, really in-depth analysis.
Yes, no.
We'll break down complex concepts, reaching into areas like, quantum mechanics and theoretical physics.
Heavy stuff.
It is. But the goal is to give you a clear, structured understanding of how this process is theorized to work. Think of it as maybe a shortcut to being truly well-informed on a topic that fundamentally challenges our perception of reality.
A shortcut through some very deep waters.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's set the stage for this journey. Talk about the genesis of this remarkable report.
Okay.
The document itself is, well, it's a captivating artifact. It's a U.S. Army intelligence report dated June 9th, 1983.
Right.
And it had a very specific objective to assess the gateway experience from a purely mechanical and practical standpoint.
Not philosophical, not mystical.
Yeah.
Purely mechanical.
Exactly. This wasn't some abstract pondering. It was an attempt to dissect a phenomenon through a rigorous scientific lens, or at least try to.
Indeed. And the author, a lieutenant colonel, makes it clear right from the start just how formidable this task was.
You can imagine.
Yeah. It demanded a deep dive into an unusually broad spectrum of scientific disciplines. He had to meticulously examine biomedical models, particularly those pioneered by Itzhak Bentov, to grasp the physical underpinnings.
Okay, so Bentov for the body stuff.
Right. Then a foray into quantum mechanics became indispensable for describing the inherent nature and functioning of human consciousness itself.
Quantum mechanics for consciousness.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The overarching goal was to construct a scientifically valid and hopefully lucid model of how consciousness operates under the influence of brain-hemisphere synchronization, which is really the core technique of Gateway.
Hemi-Sync, yeah, we'll get into that.
We will. And beyond that, theoretical physics was brought into play to explain the very character of the time-space dimension and how expanded human consciousness might transcend it.
So how we might actually step outside.
Potentially. And finally, physics was again leveraged to frame out-of-body states within a purely scientific context, deliberately trying to strip away any occult or mystical connotations for an objective assessment.
Right, trying to keep it grounded in physics, even when talking about OBEs.
Exactly. It's quite an undertaking.
It's a journey that, as the visionary physicist Niels Bohr once suggested, requires not just cold logic, but maybe a touch of right-brain intuitive insight.
That makes sense.
The report itself acknowledges that the physics of altered human consciousness grapples with concepts that aren't easily grasped or visualized exclusively through ordinary, left-brain linear thinking.
Right. It's hard to picture some of this stuff.
Totally. But our focus here today is firmly on the scientific models presented to help us grasp these concepts, just as the report lays them out.
Okay, so to build a comparative framework for understanding Gateway, the report first profiles several related methods of consciousness alteration.
Right, context is key.
Exactly. Hypnosis, for instance, is described as a technique that provides direct access to the sensory motor cortex, the pleasure centers, and the lower cerebral or emotional portions of the right side of the brain.
Access to the right brain specifically?
Yes, and this direct access becomes possible once the stimulus screening function of the left hemisphere is successfully disengaged.
Okay, so how exactly does this disengagement work according to the report?
Well, the left hemisphere is explained as the self-cognitive, verbal, linear reasoning part of our mind.
The logical part.
The logical part, yeah. It functions like a vigilant gatekeeper, meticulously screening all incoming stimuli categorizing, assessing, assigning meaning, before allowing anything to pass through to the right hemisphere.
Okay.
The right hemisphere, in stark contrast, is depicted as non-critical, holistic, nonverbal, and fundamentally pattern-oriented.
So more intuitive, less judgmental.
Precisely. It simply accepts whatever the left hemisphere permits, without question. So the insight here is that if that left hemisphere can be sufficiently distracted, perhaps through, say, boredom, or by being reduced to a drowsy, semi-sleep state.
Like in hypnosis.
Exactly. Then external stimuli, including hypnotic suggestions, can bypass the left brain's critical filter and be directly accepted by the right hemisphere, where they are then acted upon.
Okay, so the gatekeeper's asleep and the suggestion slips through.
That's the idea. And this direct access can elicit a wide range of responses. For example, an emotional reaction might be triggered in that lower cerebral region.
Makes sense.
Similarly, sensory or motor responses can be induced by stimulating specific areas of the cortex. The report points out that both the sensory and motor cortices of the right cerebral portion contain a precise sequence of points known as the homunculus.
Ah, yes, the little man map in the brain.
Right. That map directly corresponds to points in the body. So if a hypnotic suggestion, like your left leg is numb, reaches the right hemisphere unchallenged and is directed to the appropriate spot on the sensory cortex.
Leg spot.
The leg spot, yeah. It will generate an electrical reaction that produces the physical sensation of numbness.
Wow.
Likewise, suggestions of happiness or well-being would be routed to the relevant pleasure centers in the right hemisphere, inducing a state of euphoria.
It's particularly intriguing how the report highlights that suggestions like enhanced concentration or improved memory, how those were responded to.
Uh-huh.
It says they access information storage capacity normally held in reserve within the right hemisphere.
Information we don't usually get to.
Exactly. Information typically kept from conscious access by the left hemisphere's rigorous selection and control processes. This seemingly minor detail becomes quite significant later when we examine how the insights from hypnosis could be leveraged to accelerate progress in the initial stages of the gateway experience itself.
Okay, so it hints at untapped potential.
Right, a hidden reservoir of mental capability.
Interesting. Okay, moving on to a different technique. Transcendental meditation, or TM.
TM, yeah.
This operates through a distinctly different mechanism than hypnosis. Here, the process involves intense and prolonged single-minded concentration focused on drawing energy up the spinal cord.
Okay, that sounds more like traditional yogic practice.
It has parallels. And this is where the report, drawing heavily on Bentov's biomedical model, offers a truly remarkable explanation.
Okay.
This intense concentration eventually creates acoustical standing waves within the cerebral ventricles.
Standing waves, like sound waves, inside the brain cavities.
Exactly. The fluid-filled cavities deep inside the brain. These waves are then conducted to the gray matter in the right cerebral cortex.
Whoa.
And the stunning implication, as Bentov states, is that these waves stimulate and eventually polarize the cortex in a way that causes it to conduct a signal along the homunculus, that sensory map we just talked about, starting from the toes and on up.
So it's like a wave traveling up the body map in the brain, triggered by sound waves inside the brain.
That's the model presented, almost like a full-body electrical surge initiated from within the brain itself.
That's wild.
It is. The report, referencing both Bentov and a book by Dr. Lee Sanella, further clarifies that these standing acoustical waves are a direct result of altered heart rhythms.
From meditating.
From sustained meditation practice, yes. These altered rhythms, in turn, set up sympathetic vibrations within the walls of the brain's fluid-filled cavities, specifically the third and lateral ventricles.
So the heartbeat literally shakes the brain fluid.
In a very specific, resonant way, according to this model, the body's internal rhythms are causing physical vibrations within the brain.
Okay. And the states of profound bliss described by Kundalini practitioners.
They're explained here as self-stimulation of the pleasure centers in the brain caused by the circulation of a current along the sensory cortex.
The current generated by those waves.
Presumably. The report notes that most of the symptoms, which practitioners describe as starting on the left side of the body, suggest that this is primarily a development occurring within the right hemisphere.
Right hemisphere again.
Always seems to come back to the right hemisphere. What's particularly striking is that while traditional Kundalini paths can take years of intense concentration, often 5 years or more,
Right, a long time.
Bentov suggests that even exposure to mechanical or acoustical vibrations in the 4-7 Hz range for extended periods can spontaneously achieve a similar effect in susceptible individuals.
Way like mundane vibrations.
Surprisingly mundane. He cites examples like repeated riding in a car whose suspension and seat combination produce that range of vibrations, or being exposed for long periods of time to these frequencies caused, for instance, by an air conditioning duct.
So you're saying my commute could accidentally trigger a Kundalini-like state?
Well, Bentov theorized it's possible in susceptible individuals over protracted periods. It suggests the profound effects might, at a fundamental level, be linked to specific vibrational frequencies.
It's fascinating. Okay, what's the third technique?
The third consciousness-altering methodology examined is biofeedback.
Ah, biofeedback. I've heard of this.
Right. This technique stands out because it actively employs the self-cognitive powers of the left hemisphere to gain access to areas typically associated with the right brain.
So it uses the left brain instead of bypassing it.
Exactly, like the lower cerebral, motor, sensory cortices, even pain or pleasure centers. Instead of suppressing the left hemisphere, like hypnosis, or largely bypassing it, like TM, biofeedback teaches the left brain to consciously visualize a desired physiological result, and then to recognize the subtle internal sensations associated with successfully accessing the right hemisphere to produce that result.
Okay, so how does this conscious control manifest? How does it work in practice?
Specific self-monitoring devices, like a digital thermometer, are used to provide objective, immediate feedback.
Right, you see the numbers change.
Precisely. Immediate feedback to the left brain when it succeeds in engaging the right hemisphere to access the appropriate bodily area. Imagine a scenario where, say, you want to increase circulation in your leg to accelerate healing. You'd concentrate with your left brain on achieving this outcome while simultaneously monitoring a digital thermometer connected to your leg.
Watching the temperature.
Right. The moment the thermometer registers a temperature increase, signaling success, your left brain can mentally link those sensations to the achieved result. Through conscious memory recall, you can then repeat the process, strengthening the neural pathways through affirmation and repetition.
So you're basically training your brain to control things you thought were automatic.
That's the core insight, and it's truly transformative. Through this method, once automatic bodily processes can seemingly be brought under conscious control.
Like what? What can be controlled?
Well, the report suggests pain can be blocked, the body's natural healing capabilities can be dramatically enhanced, even malignant tumors can apparently be suppressed and destroyed.
Oh, really? Tumors?
That's what the report claims biofeedback has shown potential for. And the body's pleasure centers can be stimulated, leading to various physiological outcomes.
That's incredible control.
It is. The report also underscores that biofeedback can significantly accelerate the achievement of deep meditative states, especially for beginners.
How?
Through effective visualization, coupled with objective affirmation, for instance, by displaying your brainwave pattern on a screen, like a cathode ray tube.
So you see your brainwaves changing in real time.
Exactly. This laboratory-validated method allows individuals to rapidly learn to enter profoundly relaxed states characterized by the deep quietude and singularity of mental focus traditionally associated with advanced meditation.
It suggests our minds are far more capable of self-regulation than we usually think.
Much more capable. Okay, so having explored these foundational techniques, hypnosis, TM, and biofeedback, each offering a unique path to altered states.
Right, setting the scene.
We now arrive at the core of this deep dive, the gateway experience itself.
Okay, gateway. What is it, fundamentally?
Fundamentally, the gateway experience is described as a sophisticated training system. It's meticulously designed to bring enhanced strength, focus, and coherence to the amplitude and frequency of brainwave output between the left and right hemispheres.
Okay, coherence between hemispheres. Why? What's the goal?
The ultimate ambitious goal is to shift consciousness outside the physical sphere, eventually transcending the very restrictions of time and space, thereby gaining access to the various levels of intuitive knowledge that the universe, according to this model, constantly offers.
Intuitive knowledge. Okay, so what makes gateway different from, say, TM or other meditation?
What distinctively differentiates it is its foundational reliance on the Hemi-Sync technique.
Hemi-Sync. Heard that mentioned a lot.
Yes. Melissa Yeager, who is a trainer at the Monroe Institute, succinctly defines Hemi-Sync as a state of consciousness defined when the EEG patterns of both hemispheres are simultaneously equal in amplitude and frequency.
Equal amplitude and frequency. Both sides working together, perfectly balanced.
Exactly. While this state appears to be exceedingly rare and typically short-lived in ordinary consciousness,
Right, usually they're doing different things.
usually, Melissa Yeager asserts that audio techniques developed by Bob Monroe, the founder of the Monroe Institute, can reliably induce and sustain Hemi-Sync
Using sound.
using specific audio techniques, yes. The report references studies by Elmer and Alice Green, which showed that a subject with 2 decades of Zen meditation training could consistently achieve Hemi-Sync at will, maintaining it for over 15 minutes.
Okay, so advanced meditators can do it naturally.
It seems so. And Dr. Stuart Twemlow, a psychiatrist associated with the Monroe Institute, reported that their studies on the Monroe tape system observed that the tapes encourage the focusing of brain energy into a narrower and narrower frequency band.
Like focusing a beam.
He vividly compares it to the yoga concept of one-pointedness. He also noted a gradual increase in brainwave size or power as individuals went deeper with the tapes.
Interesting. Melissa Yeager uses a particularly powerful metaphor here, doesn't she?
Yeah.
About a lamp versus a laser.
She does, yeah. It really helps illuminate the process. She points out that the natural human mind, in its ordinary state, functions much like an everyday lamp.
Okay, a lamp.
A lamp diffuses its energy chaotically, radiating both heat and light broadly across a wide area with limited intensity or depth. Scattered.
Right, unfocused energy.
In stark contrast, the mind under the rigorous discipline of Hemi-Sync is likened to a laser beam.
The laser. Focused, powerful.
Exactly. A laser beam generates a highly disciplined, focused stream of light energy. This stream is projected with absolute coherence in both frequency and amplitude.
So all the waves are lined up.
Perfectly, meaning that a given surface area of a laser beam contains, and this is astonishing, billions of times the concentrated energy found in a similar surface area on the sun.
Billions of times. That's incredible concentration.
The implication is that Hemi-Sync transforms scattered mental energy into a powerful, directed force.
Okay, so the Gateway program postulates that once the frequency and amplitude of the brain's output are coherent unified, like that laser, what happens next?
It becomes possible to progressively accelerate both.
Speed them up.
Speed them up and increase the power. This allows the human mind to begin resonating at ever higher vibrational levels.
Resonating with what?
Well, the extraordinary consequence is that the mind can then synchronize itself with more sophisticated and rarefied energy levels in the universe.
Ah, okay. Tuning into higher universal frequencies.
That's the idea. The report suggests that when the mind operates at these increasingly refined levels, it becomes capable of processing information received through the same fundamental sensory matrix that it uses for ordinary physical input.
So you perceive it like sights or sounds, but it's not physical.
It can manifest in different ways. This expanded information is often perceived visually as symbols, but it can also come as astonishing flashes of holistic intuition.
Like a sudden knowing.
Exactly, or even intricate scenarios involving both visual and auditory perception. It hints at a universal language beyond words.
Wow. Okay, so how does Hemi-Sync actually do this? How does it synchronize the hemispheres using audio?
It ingeniously leverages a phenomenon known as the frequency following response, or FFR.
Frequency following response. Okay.
The principle is this. If you hear a sound produced at a frequency that mimics a specific brainwave state, your brain will try to replicate that same frequency pattern by adjusting its own brainwave output.
So your brain tries to match the sound it hears.
It tries to entrain to it, yes. For example, if you're fully awake, your brain's in beta. If you listen to sound frequencies approximating the theta level, which is common in sleep.
Your brain tries to go into theta.
Right. The report notes that, provided you don't consciously resist, you might actually transition from awake into a sleep state as your brain endeavors to entrain its wave frequency with the audio input.
But wait, the intriguing challenge here is that these brainwave frequencies, theta, delta, alpha, beta, they're outside the spectrum of sounds we can actually hear directly, right? They're too low.
That's absolutely correct. They're inaudible in their pure form. So Hemi-Sync overcomes this by using a clever workaround. The brain's natural capacity for deducing beat frequencies.
Beat frequencies, like in music tuning.
Similar principle. The insight is that if one ear hears, say, a frequency of 100 hertz, which is audible, and the other ear simultaneously hears 110 hertz.
Also audible.
Right. Rather than perceiving either of those two individual frequencies, the brain interprets the difference between them.
Which is 10 hertz.
Exactly. The 10 hertz beat frequency, and 10 hertz is right in the alpha brainwave range.
Ah, So you're feeding the brain an inaudible frequency by making it calculate the difference between two audible ones.
Precisely. It's a subliminal auditory trick that allows the brain to be guided into specific states, alpha, theta, etc., using these calculated beat frequencies.
That is clever.
The gateway system masterfully employs this FFR principle and these beat frequencies at a virtually subliminal, marginally audible level.
It's very subtle.
Very subtle. The primary objective is to progressively relax the left hemisphere, inducing that virtual sleep state for the physical body, while simultaneously guiding both hemispheres into coherence.
The Hemi-Sync state.
Right. This environment is precisely designed to foster the production of increasingly higher amplitude and frequency brainwave output.
The laser beam effect.
Exactly. And accompanying these frequencies are often subliminal suggestions from Bob Monroe, sometimes ingeniously masked by other ambient sounds like, say, sea surf.
Hidden messages, too.
Embedded suggestions, yeah. In this way, Gateway endeavors to equip the participant with the tools to volitionally alter their consciousness over time through repetitive tape use, enabling them to access, via intuitive means, new categories of information not available through ordinary conscious perception.
But the genius of the gateway system, it extends beyond just brain coherence through audio, right? There's a whole body aspect, too.
Absolutely. It's also meticulously designed to achieve the profound physical quietude characteristic of deep transcendental meditative states.
Okay.
And according to the report, this physiological stillness fundamentally alters the inherent resonance pattern of the human body's sound frequencies.
Alters the body's sound resonance?
How? Bentoff explains that this significant shift stems from the elimination of what the medical profession calls the bifurcation echo.
The bifurcation echo. What's that?
He details how, when the heart's left ventricle ejects blood, the aorta, being elastic, balloons out slightly just past the valve, sending a pressure pulse coursing down. Upon reaching the bifurcation in the lower abdomen, where the aorta forks into the legs, a portion of this pressure pulse rebounds and travels back up the aorta.
Like an echo in a pipe.
Exactly. Now, if, concurrently, the heart ejects more blood and a new pressure pulse descends, these two pressure waves, the new one going down and the echo coming up, eventually collide,
Creating interference.
creating an interference pattern. This echo is happening constantly in our normal state.
Okay, so how did the tapes eliminate it?
The brilliance of the gateway tapes lies in their ability to guide the body into such a profoundly relaxed, sleep-like state that this bifurcation echo slowly begins to fade.
Why? How?
It happens as the heart lessens the force and frequency with which it propels blood into the aorta. The system just calms right down.
Okay, relaxation reduces the echo. What's the result?
The remarkable outcome is a regular, rhythmic, sine wave pattern of sound which echoes throughout the body and rises up into the head in sustained resonance.
A sine wave sound in the body.
At approximately 7 times per second, or 7 hertz. When measured with a sensitive seismograph-type instrument, this internal sound registers at about 3 times the average volume of a normal heartbeat.
So the body starts humming, basically, internally.
That's a good way to put it. It's as if the body itself becomes a finely tuned internal sound system humming at around 7 hertz.
Wow. And why is this 7 hertz resonance important?
Bentoff's biomedical model emphasizes its considerable importance because it's directly transmitted to and profoundly impacts the brain.
How?
The resulting vibration is received and relayed directly into the brain itself via the fluid-filled third and lateral ventricles, located strategically above the brainstem.
Ah, the ventricles again, like the TM standing waves.
Exactly. This process, in turn, generates an electromagnetic pulse that stimulates the brain, increasing the amplitude and frequency of its brainwave output.
Which is exactly what Dr. Twemlow observed with Hemi-Sync.
Precisely. The body's own internal symphony is literally powering the brain's expansion, reinforcing the Hemi-Sync effect.
So what's the profound implication of this internal resonance? The body humming at 7 hertz.
Well, the report further elaborates that the brain, nestled within its protective membrane, the dura, and cushioned by fluid between it and the skull, rhythmically moves up and down by an incredibly small distance, about 0.005 to 0.010 millimeters, in a continuous pattern due to this coherent internal resonance.
The whole brain is subtly bobbing.
Subtly bobbing in time with this 7 hertz hum. The self-reinforcing nature of resonant behavior explains the body's ability to sustain this minute movement despite minimal energy input.
Okay.
In essence, the entire human body, by virtue of its own micromotion, transforms into a tuned vibrational system.
A human tuning fork.
Kind of. A system that effectively transfers energy in a range of about 6.8 to 7.5 hertz into the Earth's ionospheric cavity.
Wait, transfers energy out to the Earth's atmosphere.
Into the Earth's ionospheric cavity, which itself resonates naturally at approximately 7 to 7.5 hertz.
The Schumann resonance? Is that what they're talking about?
The report doesn't name it Schumann, but the frequency range is identical. The body tunes itself to the planet's natural frequency.
Okay, this is getting really cosmic.
And this is where the report unveils a truly mind-bending connection. Bentov states this phenomenon is occurring at a very long wavelength of about 40,000 kilometers, or just about the perimeter of the planet.
40,000 kilometers, that's huge.
Exactly. The wavelength matches the Earth's circumference. Think about that. The subtle signal from the micromotion of our bodies can, in theory, travel around the entire world in roughly 1/7 of a second.
Wow.
Through the Earth's electrostatic field, the very medium we are embedded within. Such a long wavelength encounters virtually no obstacles. Its strength doesn't significantly diminish over vast distances.
So it goes through everything.
As Bentov puts it can pass through just about anything: metal, concrete, water, and the fields making up our bodies. He concludes that this makes it the ideal medium for conveying a telepathic signal.
Whoa. A built-in biological mechanism for global, non-local communication.
That's the implication of Bentov's model as presented in the report.
Okay, so the gateway process is engineered to rapidly induce profound calm.
Right, lowering blood pressure.
Which lets the body start vibrating coherently at around 7.5 hertz, resonating with the Earth's electrostatic field.
Exactly. The body becomes a coherent oscillator vibrating in harmony with the surrounding electrostatic medium.
Okay, body tuned to the Earth, then what?
Then, the specific exercises within the gateway tapes instruct the participant to build up the energy field surrounding their body.
How?
Presumably by actively drawing energy from the Earth's field, which the body is now entraining due to its resonant alignment.
Pulling energy in from the Earth.
That seems to be the idea. This process brings the individual's bodily energy field into homogeneity with its surrounding environment. It makes the two electromagnetic mediums, the body's and Earth's, behave as a single energy continuum.
Merging with the Earth's field.
In a sense. And this facilitates the movement of the seat of consciousness into that surrounding environment.
Making OBEs easier.
That's part of it.
No.
So the same process that guides the brain into focused coherence at higher frequencies for information gathering.
Right, the Hemi-Sync part.
Also simultaneously promotes an enhancement of the body's overall energy levels. This energy surge is posited to reach a point sufficient to allow the participant to experience an out-of-body movement when they're ready.
Okay.
And moreover, by resonating with the Earth's electromagnetic sphere, the human body effectively creates a surprisingly powerful carrier wave to assist the mind in communication activity with other human minds similarly tuned.
A biological internet built into our very existence.
Yeah.
Based on resonance.
That's the fascinating picture painted by the report, based heavily on Bentov's work.
Okay. Mind blown. But before we go further into Gateway, the report takes a detour, right, into the fundamental nature of reality itself.
It does. It deems it essential to first define the underlying mechanism by which the mind performs consciousness and how consciousness extracts meaning. And to do that, it revisits the fundamental character of the material world.
And it makes a pretty bold claim.
It makes a very bold claim. It states unequivocally that solid matter, in the strict construction of the term, simply does not exist.
No solid matter. That's a radical redefinition of reality.
It is. Science, the report explains, now understands that both the electrons spinning in the energy field around an atom's nucleus and the nucleus itself are composed of nothing more than oscillating energy grids.
Everything is just vibrating energy.
Exactly. For context, an atomic nucleus vibrates at incredibly rapid frequencies. Even a live human cell vibrates at hundreds of cycles per second. Everything is vibration.
So the profound implication here
is that the entire human being, brain, consciousness and all, is like the universe which surrounds him, nothing more or less than an extraordinarily complex system of energy fields.
Wow.
What we perceive as distinct states of matter, solid, liquid, gas, are, at their core, merely variances in the state of energy, differences in vibration.
And consciousness.
Consciousness itself is presented as a fundamental function arising from the interaction of energy in two opposite states. motion versus rest.
Motion versus rest. That's it.
That's the fundamental interaction proposed. It shifts our perspective from a material world to a vibrant, interconnected web of energy.
Okay, so if everything's energy fields, how does meaning get stored or retrieved? How do we perceive anything?
Building on this, the report explains that energy in the universe creates, stores, and retrieves, meaning by projecting or expanding at specific frequencies in a three-dimensional mold. This intricate living pattern is what the report calls a hologram.
A hologram? Okay, I think I know what that is, like the 3D images.
Right, but the concept here is much deeper. It's most easily grasped using an example cited by Bentov. Imagine a bowl of water. You drop 3 pebbles in simultaneously.
Okay, ripples spread out.
Ripples radiate outwards. Now visualize the surface of the water being suddenly flash frozen, instantly preserving that complex ripple pattern.
Got it. A frozen snapshot of the ripples.
Right. If you then remove this frozen ice surface and illuminate it with a powerful, coherent source of light, like a laser,
What happens?
the astonishing result will be a three-dimensional model or representation of the original position of the 3 pebbles, suspended in midair.
You'd see the pebbles just from the frozen ripple pattern.
That's the principle of holography. Holograms are incredibly efficient at encoding information. For instance, it's theoretically possible to take a holographic projection of, say, swamp water, and when viewed under magnification, discern microscopic organisms not visible in the actual water.
Wow. Dennis Gabor figured this out mathematically back in 47.
He did. Won a Nobel Prize later when lasers made demonstrations possible. Biologist Lyle Watson clarifies that when 2 laser beams intersect, they create an interference pattern. If one beam reflects off an object, like your face, the resulting pattern, when recorded, forms a hologram of that face.
And here's where it gets really mind-bending.
Yeah.
The part contains the whole.
Exactly.
Wow.
Even if you drop that frozen hologram of the ripple pattern and shatter it into pieces,
Yeah.
each individual piece would miraculously recreate the entire holographic image all by itself.
The whole image from just a tiny shard.
Yes. The smaller the piece, the fuzzier the projection, but the complete image emerges.
That's amazing. What's the key to making one?
The fundamental key is that energy in motion must interact with energy in a state of rest.
Motion and rest again.
Right. In Bentov's analogy, the pebbles are energy in motion. The water before agitation is energy at rest. To activate or perceive the hologram's meaning, a coherent light source, the laser must pass through the intricate interference pattern generated by that interaction.
It reads the pattern.
And as Marilyn Ferguson, editor of Brain Mind Bulletin, noted, holograms are incredibly efficient. Billions of bits of information can be stored in a tiny space.
Suggests a profound efficiency in the universe's information storage. Okay, so how does this relate to consciousness and the universe?
Building upon groundbreaking ideas from neuroscientist Carl Pribram and physicist David Bohm, the report posits that the entire universe is, in essence, one gigantic hologram of unbelievable complexity.
The universe is a hologram.
Okay. And what's equally profound is the assertion that the human mind is also a hologram.
Our minds are holograms.
Yes. Our mind hologram attunes itself to the universal hologram through a continuous medium of energy exchange, thereby deducing meaning and ultimately achieving the state we call consciousness.
So our mind resonates with the universe's hologram to understand it.
That's the radical idea. It shifts from viewing the mind as just a product of the brain.
Okay, so in expanded states, like Gateway aims for, how does this interaction work?
As energy flows through various aspects of the universal hologram, it's perceived by the electrostatic fields that constitute the human mind.
Our mind's energy field.
Right. The holographic images being conveyed are projected onto those electrostatic fields. They are then perceived or understood to the precise extent that the mind's field is operating at a frequency and amplitude that can harmonize with.
Resonate with.
And therefore read the energy carrier wave pattern passing through it. It's like a finely tuned radio receiver picking up a specific broadcast from the universe.
So changing our mind's frequency changes what part of the universal hologram we perceive.
Exactly. Changes in the frequency and amplitude of the mind's electrostatic field determine the configuration of the holographic energy matrix the mind projects. This projection is its means of directly intercepting meaning from the universe's holographic transmissions.
And how does it make sense of it?
To make sense of what the holographic image is communicating, the mind compares the newly received image with its own internal memory hologram.
Comparing holograms.
Right. By registering differences in geometric form and energy frequency, consciousness achieves perception. As psychologist Keith Floyd provocatively suggests, it may not be the brain that produces consciousness, but rather consciousness that creates the appearance of the brain.
Ooh, that flips everything. Mind creates
It
brain.
flips our conventional understanding right on its head.
So how does the brain or mind actually process this holographic information? It seems so complex.
The consciousness process is most easily visualized if we imagine superimposing a three-dimensional grid system over the holographic input.
Okay, a good grid.
This allows all the energy patterns within to be described using 3D geometry, which can then be mathematically reduced to a two-dimensional form for processing.
Simplifying it.
Right. Bentov suggests scientists hypothesize the mind operates on a simple binary go-no-go system, much like a digital computer.
On, off, yes, no.
Exactly. So once it superimposes this 3D matrix over holographic information and reduces it mathematically to 2D form, it can process it using this fundamental binary system. Our minds operate comparatively, perceiving by registering differences only.
Differences.
Bentov states, our whole reality is constructed by constantly making such comparisons. Whenever we perceive something, we always perceive differences only.
So reality is built on distinguishing one thing from another, a series of distinctions.
That's the idea presented.
And in expanded consciousness, how do the brain hemispheres play into this?
In expanded states, the right hemisphere holistic, nonlinear, nonverbal acts as the primary matrix or receptor for this holographic input.
The right brain receives the hologram.
While operating in phase or in coherence with the right brain, the left hemisphere then provides a crucial secondary matrix.
What does the left brain do?
Through its binary computer-like function, it further screens the data by comparison and reduces it to a discrete, two-dimensional form, making it digestible for conscious awareness.
So the right brain gets the whole picture. The left brain analyzes and translates it.
That's a good way to think about it.
So the core implication here is, to the extent that Gateway succeeds in refining the mind's energy matrix, its holographic field, it effectively expands or alters consciousness. This enables perception without relying on physical senses, allowing us to ultimately perceive and understand more of the universal hologram.
Much of which is inaccessible through ordinary senses.
Right. Marilyn Ferguson captures this beautifully, saying the theories of Pribram and Bohm appear to account for all transcendental experience, paranormal events, and even normal perceptual oddities.
It brings it all under one umbrella.
Yeah. She adds that Pribram's holographic model bridges brain research and theoretical physics, explaining normal perception and simultaneously taking paranormal and transcendental experiences out of the supernatural by explaining them as a part of nature.
Reframing the extraordinary as just an unexplored aspect of the natural world. Very powerful.
But what about self-awareness? Knowing that we know, how does the holographic model explain that?
Self-cognition. Good question. The report explains that human beings possess this unique capability. We not only know, but we know that we know. We can monitor our own thinking.
Right.
This remarkable self-awareness is possible because human consciousness has the inherent capacity to duplicate aspects of its own hologram.
Make a copy of itself.
Project a copy outward, yes.
Right.
Then it perceives that projection, puts it through a comparison with its memory aspect, where evaluation standards are stored, and then senses the differences in geometric form and energy pulse to yield verbal cognition about itself.
So our very identity is a constantly evolving holographic comparison, mind comparing itself to itself.
That's the essence of the model presented for self-cognition.
Okay, we've covered energy fields, resonance, holograms. Now the really big one. How does consciousness transcend time-space, according to this report?
All right, this is where it gets truly profound, moving beyond even the holographic model of perception. The report begins by defining time.
How does it define time?
As a measurement of energy in motion, or more simply, a measurement of change.
Okay, time, change, motion.
Right. And for energy to be in motion, it must first be confined. It needs boundaries. It must possess some vibratory pattern, thus contained at specific locations.
Which is what we define as space.
Exactly. Space provides the container for motion.
But what about energy that isn't confined?
Energy not confined is described as force without limit, existing beyond time, space, and form.
Beyond limits.
It's characterized as nothing beyond infinity, and consequently, it exists beyond the concept of space, since space implies limitation.
Okay.
This energy in infinity is said to be completely at rest and therefore utterly incapable of generating holograms. It remains passive.
Pure potential.
Something like that. This state of inactive infinity is termed by physicists its absolute state, or simply the absolute.
Yeah, absolute. The ground of being, maybe?
The report posits that between this absolute and our familiar material universe, there exist various intervening dimensions.
Layers between our reality and the absolute.
Yes, dimensions that human consciousness may continue to expand into and gain access to. Theoretically, the horizons of perception are limited only by the absolute itself, at which point perception ceases because the absolute, being pure rest, doesn't generate holograms of or about itself.
Okay, so the critical question, how does consciousness, which we associate with our active vibrating brains, manage to transcend time-space? How does it access these other dimensions?
The report introduces a fascinating concept from quantum mechanics called Planck's distance.
Planck's distance. Incredibly small, right?
Unimaginably small. It refers to the fact that any oscillating frequency like a brainwave reaches two infinitesimal points of complete rest during each of its oscillations.
A tiny pause at the top and bottom of the wave.
Precisely. Without these fleeting moments of rest, an oscillating wave pattern would be impossible. They're required for the energy to change direction and continue vibrating between its defined limits.
Makes sense.
The profound insight here is that when, for an infinitesimally brief instant, that energy reaches one of these 2 points of rest, it effectively clicks out of time-space and merges with infinity.
Clicks out. It leaves our reality for an instant.
But that's the postulate. It rejoins the infinite absolute for that tiny moment at the peak and trough of every oscillation.
Wow. When does this happen? Is there a threshold?
Yes. That absolutely critical step out of time-space occurs when the speed of the oscillation drops below an unimaginably small threshold, 1033 centimeters per second. That's Planck's distance.
Okay.
To use Bentoff's own words from the report, quantum mechanics tell us that when distances go below Planck's distance, we enter, in effect, a new world.
A new world. Below Planck's distance.
Right. The ambitious aim of the gateway experience is to guide the human consciousness wave pattern to such incredibly high frequencies
Faster and faster brainwaves.
that the pattern of these clickouts becomes virtually continuous. The gaps between clicks become vanishingly small.
But consciousness is spending almost all its time outside.
When this is achieved, a portion of that expanded consciousness is theorized to establish and maintain its information collection function in those dimensions that exist in the transitional space between time-space and the absolute.
So it learns to operate in that clicked-out state.
That's the hypothesis. This then allows consciousness to pass through the looking glass of time-space after the fashion of Alice beginning her journey into Wonderland.
Through the looking glass.
The gateway experience with Hemi-Sync is apparently designed, if used systematically and patiently, to enable consciousness to establish a coherent pattern of perception in those dimensions where speeds below Planck distance apply.
Whether you're in the body or out.
Exactly. Whether exercising consciousness while in the physical body or after separating consciousness from it in an out-of-body state, it's about tuning into a different reality, learning to perceive there.
Is there any evidence for this clicking out?
Well, the behavior of subatomic particles offers a compelling parallel example. Dr. John Gleedman discussed the peculiar way subatomic particles communicate instantaneously once their energy fields become entrained after colliding.
Quantum entanglement.
Essentially, yes. Even if they are light years apart, they respond instantly to each other. This cross-communication is postulated to occur precisely during the click-out phase of their energy field oscillation.
The particles might be communicating outside of time-space during their rest points.
That's the hypothesis presented to support the idea.
So what's the profound implication of this instantaneous communication? It seems faster than light. Doesn't that break physics?
It appears to involve speeds exceeding light, but crucially, the report stresses this doesn't invalidate Einstein's theory of relativity.
Why not?
Because, as the report states, the communication concerned is taking place outside the dimension of time-space to which the theory of relativity is strictly confined. Relativity applies within our time-space. This is happening outside it.
Ah, okay. Different rules apply.
Different rules. Dr. Gleedman noted, quantum theory postulates a kind of long-range Siamese twin effect. They instantaneously respond. And in so doing, they violate relativity's ban on faster-than-light velocities. Bentoff also speaks of hypothetical particles called tachyons, which could move faster than light, maybe even to infinite velocities.
Particles that only exist outside time-space.
Hypothetically, yes. This suggests dimensions where our physical laws simply don't apply.
And what are these dimensions like, according to the report?
In these intermediate dimensions beyond our familiar time-space, the report indicates that the causal relationship between events breaks down. Movements become jerky rather than smooth. Time and space may become grainy or chunky.
Not smooth and continuous like here.
Apparently not. The neat, predictable relationship we experience doesn't apply there. But even more significantly, access to these dimensions means the past and the future are no longer rigidly separated.
They become simultaneously accessible.
That's the implication. Past, present, future, all potentially perceivable when you step outside linear time.
Okay. That leads naturally into the out-of-body experience,
Yeah.
the OBE. The report suggests doing this clicking out is enhanced if consciousness is detached from the body.
Yes. While consciousness can, with enough practice, expand beyond time-space from within the body, the report suggests the entire process is appreciably enhanced if consciousness is largely detached first.
Why is it easier from an OBE state?
The report posits that once an individual is proficient in OBEs and can break out of time-space while out of body, they gain a significant advantage.
What advantage?
It stems from clicking out while starting from a base located much closer to the dimensions they wish to communicate with.
Less distance to travel, metaphorically.
Exactly. Because they begin from a higher or more refined point of consciousness, the part involved in clicking out will have considerably more time to interact in dimensions beyond time-space, as less travel time is needed through the intervening layers.
Okay, that makes sense. Any other advantages?
Furthermore, once consciousness is projected beyond time-space, it would logically tend to entrain its frequency output with the new, non-physical energy environment.
Tuning itself to that new dimension.
Right. This would greatly enhance the extent to which the altered consciousness may be further modified to achieve a much heightened focus and a more refined oscillating pattern.
Creating a positive feedback loop.
A self-reinforcing process is anticipated, yes, promoting even further exploration. The report's tentative conclusion is that the OBE state may be an extremely effective way of accelerating the process of enhancing consciousness and of interfacing with dimensions beyond time-space.
Like launching a spacecraft from orbit instead of the ground. Much more efficient.
A good analogy. The Monroe Institute, however, makes it clear that the Gateway program wasn't established solely for inducing OBEs, nor does it guarantee success for most participants.
It's a tool, not the only goal.
Right. In fact, only one tape out of the many in the Gateway experience is dedicated specifically to OBE techniques. These techniques are simply designed to facilitate OBEs when the individual's brain waves and energy levels are in apparent harmony with the surrounding electromagnetic environment,
Was the conditions all right?
leading to the subjective feeling that separation is a genuine possibility.
Does the report mention specific Hemi-Sync frequencies for OBEs?
It does. Bob Monroe is quoted stating that to assist participants, the OBE tape uses beta signals of around 2,877.3 CPS, cycles per second.
Wait, 2,877 hertz? That's incredibly high. Normal beta is like 30, 40 hertz.
Exactly. It's significantly higher. It shows the Monroe Institute was convinced that the same heightened state of brainwave frequency output that promotes altered consciousness is also crucial for facilitating OBEs.
Higher frequencies seem key. What about the actual separation techniques? Are they complex?
Surprisingly simple, according to the report. Maneuvers like rolling out, lifting out, rigidly, headfirst, finding yourself standing at the foot of your body, or simply sliding out through either end of his body. It sounds almost effortless.
Effortless, but probably hard to achieve the state for it. There was an interesting note about REM sleep too, right?
Yes, particularly insightful. Bob Monroe shared how a former trainer discovered they could reliably induce OBEs by guiding participants into a rapid eye movement, or REM sleep state, and then applying the Hemi-Sync OBE tape.
Why REM sleep?
This observation might stem from the widespread belief that most people naturally enter an OBE state during REM sleep anyway.
We have OBEs every night during REM.
It's a theory mentioned. REM sleep is the deepest ordinary sleep, characterized by complete disengagement of the body's motor cortex from the neck down.
Sleep paralysis.
Right, and nearly complete suppression of left brain consciousness. This puts the body in profound stillness, helping eliminate the bifurcation echo.
Ah, that 7 hertz resonance again.
And it frees the right hemisphere to respond to the Gateway tape's instructions.
Yeah.
However, the report suggests Hemi-Sync at this point might be less about actively achieving the OBE and more about focusing the brain sufficiently so that a residual memory of a naturally occurring OBE is carried into waking consciousness.
So it helps you remember an OBE that was already happening.
That's one possibility raised. Some dreams in deep sleep, it's postulated, might even be analogous altered consciousness states.
Okay, so summing up, what are the key conditions for a voluntary OBE, according to this report?
The report concludes there are three apparent conditions. First, profound physical quietude bifurcation echo fades that 7 Hz resonance is established.
Body is humming.
Second, synchronization of the two brain hemisphere wave patterns, Hemi-Sync.
Brain is coherent.
And third, subsequent stimulation of the mind's right hemisphere to heightened alertness, even while the body is asleep.
Alert mind, asleep body, coherent brain, resonant body. Quite a combo.
It is.
Now, the big draw for many exploring OBEs is information gathering, right? Remote viewing, seeing things far away.
Undeniably, the information acquisition potential attracts the most attention. While individuals in that state may apparently travel anywhere instantaneously, terrestrially, or beyond, significant information distortion remains a major concern, particularly in the terrestrial context. Things aren't always clear.
How bad is the distortion? Are there examples?
The report recounts Monroe Institute experiments involving attempts to read computer-generated numbers located across the U.S. They had only partial success. Critically, never all 10 digits were reported correctly.
Not reliable enough for intelligence work, maybe. Why the distortion? What causes it?
Several potential sources are mentioned. One is encountering energy patterns left by people or events occurring at the same physical site being viewed, but from the past rather than the present.
Picking up psychic residue or echoes from the past?
That's the idea. It's like picking up overlapping signals from different time periods.
Okay, what else?
Also, since thoughts themselves are the product of energy patterns, and the report posits energy patterns constitute reality, it's theorized individuals might encounter thought forms while out of body. These could mingle with perceived physical reality, making them hard to differentiate.
Distinguishing thoughts from reality becomes tricky.
Exactly. And finally, as Melissa Yeager notes, holograms can be viewed pseudoscopically, inside out or backwards, just as readily as in proper perspective.
Seeing things reversed.
Some distortions might stem from that, perceiving the holographic energy patterns of reality in a somewhat distorted form.
Okay, so OBE information is potentially powerful, but unreliable due to these distortions. Now, let's pull back again to the big picture. The universal hologram, the absolute.
Right, let's integrate all these concepts. To recap, the universe is an incredibly complex hologram woven from the intersecting energy patterns of all dimensions.
Got it.
Our minds are distinct energy fields interacting with this universal hologram to deduce information processed by the left brain for conscious thought.
Mind hologram interacts with universe hologram.
And the report goes further, implying this universal hologram is the finite embodiment in active energy form of the infinite consciousness of the absolute.
The hologram is like the manifestation of the absolute.
That's the implication, the absolute being that vast pool of energy in a state of perfect rest underlying everything. Bentov uses that analogy of a deep sea.
Right, still depths are the absolute, stormy surface is our universe.
And the currents in between are energy in transition.
Okay. The report then presents a model for how this hologram, the universe, actually formed, based on the Big Bang, but with a twist.
Yes, Bentov presents a truly remarkable conceptual model, drawing on the Big Bang theory but depicting the universal hologram, or torus, as an immense self-contained spiral.
A torus, like a donut shape. Why?
It's based partly on observations of quasars ejecting matter and the premise that small processes mirror large ones, electrons orbiting atoms mirror planets orbiting suns.
As above, so below.
Kind of. Bentov postulates a similar scenario for the universe's generation. He envisages matter being ejected from an extremely compressed energy nucleus through a white hole,
Okay, starting point.
forming an ovoid or cosmic egg shape, traveling around the shell of this egg, and eventually departing via a black hole at the far end to be reabsorbed.
A cyclical universe. Emerging, traveling, returning.
That's the model. It offers a self-contained cosmic evolution.
And where does time fit into this cosmic egg?
In this model, time is observed to be a measure of the change which occurs as energy evolves into new, more complex forms as it progresses along the distance from the white hole side, around the shell of this cosmic egg until it enters the black hole.
So time is the measure of the journey around the egg.
Essentially, yes. As energy emerges from infinity via the white hole and takes form in motion, time begins. It's the cadence of evolution as reality traverses the egg's shell towards the black hole.
Where does our universe sit in this egg?
Based on galaxy distribution, northern ones moving away faster, Bentov suggests our particular universe is located near the top of the egg, where matter begins to curve back upon itself towards the far end.
Okay.
Layered over this cosmic egg is the absolute, perpetually sustaining the radiating nucleus. As the stream of matter moves around the ovoid, it simultaneously generates the interference pattern within the cosmic egg.
Ah, and that interference pattern is the universal hologram, the torus.
Precisely, that's the universal hologram according to this model.
And because this torus is generated by matter in all phases of its journey around the egg, all phases of time.
It inherently reflects the universe's past, present, and future simultaneously, as viewed from our perspective within one phase of time.
So by contemplating this model,
It becomes possible to see how human consciousness, if brought to a sufficiently altered or focused state, like Gateway aims for, could potentially obtain information concerning the past, present, and future.
because they all exist at once in the hologram.
They all exist simultaneously in the universal hologram. The future can theoretically be predicted because all consequences of past and present are converging within the hologram.
Wow. Okay, let's revisit consciousness itself in this model. It's the organizing principle.
Yes, consciousness is the organizing and sustaining principle that provides the impetus and guidance to bring and keep energy in motion within a given set of parameters so that a specific reality will result.
And self-cognition, knowing we know.
That happens when consciousness can perceive itself, its own holographic representation. Humans possess this. The absolute possesses this ultimate omniscient version. When energy returns to rest in the absolute, it re-enters that boundless continuum of consciousness.
So the more complex the energy system,
The more consciousness it inherently possesses to maintain its specific reality.
and our individual consciousness, where does it come from?
It's described as a differentiated aspect of the universal consciousness which resides within the absolute.
A spark of the divine, almost.
You could see it that way. It's the animating force organizing our physical body's energy patterns, yet it's distinctly separate from and superior to it.
And because consciousness exists outside time-space.
It, like the absolute, is eternal, neither beginning nor end. Reality within time-space is finite, but the fundamental quantum of energy and its associated consciousness is eternal. When reality ends, its energy simply returns to infinity in the absolute.
Completely redefines life and death. What about memory?
Memory is also a function of consciousness, sharing its eternal character. When consciousness returns to the absolute, it carries all accumulated memories.
Does identity get extinguished?
No, the report suggests not extinction, but a differentiated consciousness, merging with and participating in the universal consciousness and infinity of the absolute, without losing its separate identity and accumulated self-knowledge.
So you retain who you are, your memories.
Yes, but you lose the capability for independent thought holograms, as that requires energy and motion. You retain perception, but relinquish will choice.
Trading will for participation in the infinite.
In exchange for participation in the all-knowing infinite continuum of consciousness.
So when a person experiences an OBE,
They are, in fact, projecting that eternal spark of consciousness and memory, which constitutes the ultimate source of his identity, to let it play in and learn from dimensions both inside and outside the time-space world,
a temporary journey of the eternal self.
in which his physical component currently enjoys a short period of reality.
Exactly.
Okay, that's the cosmic framework. Let's get practical again. The actual gateway training techniques. How does it work step by step?
Right, the practical side. The report emphasizes Gateway is methodical, step-by-step, relying on repetitive practice. Its rate of progress is deemed much faster than traditional meditation, with wider horizons,
Making it accessible.
making it remarkably accessible even to skeptical pragmatists primarily focused on results.
And progress depends less on hours practiced and more on
the speed with which he or she is able to use the insights gained to release anxieties and stresses within both the mind and the body.
dealing with your own stuff. These deeply ingrained energy blockages are identified as the principal barriers to achieving the enhanced energy states and focused clarity needed for rapid progression. Emotional and psychological release is crucial.
Okay, so what are the initial steps?
The process thoughtfully begins by teaching the individual to symbolically isolate extraneous concerns in a visualization called an energy conversion box. Put your worries in the box.
Okay, contain the mental noise.
Then resonate tuning. uttering a single, monotonous, protracted humming sound, humming along with the chorus on the tape, to set up vibrations, especially in the head, achieving
Getting the
resonance.
body humming early on.
Next, the gateway affirmation. A statement heard and repeated, affirming the individual is more than merely a physical body and desires to expand consciousness, reinforcing intention.
Setting the purpose.
After that, participants are introduced to Hemi-Sync frequencies proper, encouraged to notice and appreciate the feelings of brainwave synchronization.
Becoming aware of the state.
This is followed by progressive physical relaxation. While Hemi-Sync frequencies expand to include pink and white noise, these sounds guide the body to the virtual threshold of sleep, calm the left hemisphere, and heighten the right.
Creating that ideal state.
Once achieved, the participant envisions creating an energy balloon. An energy flow from the head down to the feet, then back up through the body and out into the balloon pattern again.
What's the balloon for?
It resembles the cosmic egg model. It enhances energy flow, promotes resonance, and provides protection against conscious entities possessing lower energy levels one might encounter during OBEs.
Psychic protection built in.
A vital precautionary measure, especially for initial OBEs, possibly going beyond Earth.
Okay, once you've done all that, you reach Focus 10. What happens next?
At Focus 10, you're considered prepared to consciously interact with dimensions beyond physical reality. The next state, Focus 12, requires conscious effort, aided by more pink and white noise.
Focus 12. Expanded awareness. What can you do there?
Once this greatly expanded awareness is achieved, you employ specific techniques or tools, as the Monroe Institute calls them, for practical feedback and growth.
Like what kind of tools?
One primary technique is problem solving. Identify a fundamental problem, fill your expanded awareness with it, then project it out into the universe.
Asking the universe for help.
Essentially enlisting your higher self, your expanded consciousness, to interact with the universal hologram for the information needed. Responses might be immediate or develop intuitively over days,
The sudden knowing.
or visual symbols seen in the Focus 12 state that need interpretation later.
Okay, problem solving. What else?
Patterning. Using consciousness to achieve desired objectives, physical, emotional, intellectual.
Manifesting.
Kind of. You intensely concentrate on the objective in Focus 12, extend its perception into your entire expanded consciousness, then project it into the universe with the firm intention that it's already an established achievement destined to be realized.
Declaring it done.
The belief is that these thought patterns create specific holograms representing the desired situation, laying the groundwork for its actual manifestation. This thought-generated hologram interacts with the universal hologram to bring it about.
Powerful stuff.
Any warnings?
Yes, a fascinating caution against forcing the pace, as it could dislocate existing reality with potentially drastic unintended consequences. Handle with care.
Don't mess with reality too quickly. Got it. Next tool.
Color breathing. Leveraging Focus 12 awareness to vividly imagine intense colors, using them to resonate with and activate the body's own energies.
Healing with colors in your mind.
Primarily a healing technique, yeah. Aimed at restoring balance, enhancing capabilities by harmonizing, revitalizing, retuning bodily energy flows. It's based on the body's electromagnetic field in training energy from Earth's field.
Using color to tune the energy intake.
Colors serve as cues to the mind for desired frequency amplitudes. The mind is the sole agent, no external lights are used. It taps into the known psychological and physiological effects of color, like blue light reducing swelling. Okay, color breathing. Keep going.
The energy bar tool. This draws on archetypal symbols like magic wands. You visualize a small, intensely pulsating light dot, charge it mentally with enormous energy until it throbs.
Okay.
Then extrude this dot into a sparkling, vibrating cylinder of energy.
Your own mental energy tool. What's it for?
Used to channel force from the universe to selected parts of the body for healing and revitalization, like having a universal power conduit at your mental command.
And this tool's used for other things too.
Yes, it's repurposed as a portal for initiating remote viewing. You turn the visualized energy bar into a whirling vortex, through which you send your imagination searching for insights. The vortex symbolism seems designed to cue the subconscious, providing nonverbal instructions the right hemisphere understands.
Using symbols to guide the viewing. Interesting. What about the living body map?
This amplifies the energy bar tool for specific body healing. You imagine your whole body, then visualize major systems, nervous, circulatory, and appropriate colors within that outline.
A detailed internal visualization.
Then you apply the energy bar tool to energize, balance, heal those specific systems, visualizing colored energy flowing from the tool. It assumes the body, being energy, can be healed by additive energy in the appropriate form or frequency, represented by color.
Okay, those are the Focus 12 tools. What about more advanced states? Time travel.
Yes, moving beyond Focus 12, Focus 15 involves travel into the past.
Wow.
Requires further significant expansion of consciousness, facilitated by additional Hemi-Sync sounds, some intensifying frequencies, others providing subtle suggestions. Instructions are symbolic. Time is often visualized as a huge wheel, with spokes accessing different parts of the past.
Is it easy to reach Focus 15?
Presented as very advanced, extremely difficult. Fewer than 5% typically reach it during the initial training, but Monroe trainers affirm it's achievable with practice, potentially allowing access not just to personal past, but other historical events too.
And the future.
That's Focus 21, the ultimate and most advanced state, moving outside time-space to discover the future.
Even harder.
Extremely difficult, likely requiring months or years of dedicated practice, either meditation or Hemi-Sync. It demands profound dedication to altered consciousness.
Okay, so that's the whole system, from basics to time travel. What were the report's final conclusions and recommendations? Did they think it was plausible?
In conclusion, the report states there is a sound, rational basis in terms of physical science parameters for considering Gateway to be plausible in terms of its essential objectives.
So scientifically plausible based on their analysis.
Yes. It implies that intuitive insights, personal, practical, professional, seem well within reasonable expectations. However, to truly accelerate these experiences and achieve organizational exploitation,
Like for intelligence gathering.
presumably, the report outlines a detailed, phased approach.
What do they recommend for accelerating it?
A multi-step process. A, start with Gateway Hemi-Sync tapes for focus and synchronization.
Okay.
B, add strong REM sleep frequencies to induce left brain quiet and deep physical relaxation.
Combine Hemi-Sync and REM state.
C, provide hypnotic suggestion to enable inducing deep auto-hypnosis at will.
Self-hypnosis on command.
D, use that auto-hypnotic suggestion to enhance focus and motivation for rapid progress through Focus 12 exercises.
Use hypnosis to boost gateway practice.
E, repeat A and B after using auto-hypnotic suggestion that an OBE will occur and be remembered.
Programming OBE recall.
F, repeat E to gain conscious control of the OBE state, maintaining it even after REM sleep ends.
Conscious controlled OBEs.
G, approach Focus 15 past and Focus 21 future objectives from that controlled out-of-body perspective.
Time travel while out of body.
Yeah,
More efficient, right?
exactly.
What about solving that distortion problem in OBE viewing?
Ah, yes. For terrestrial information gathering, they proposed a highly sophisticated solution, a multi-focus approach.
A multi-focus.
Simultaneous use of 3 individuals in the OBE state. One viewing the target in time-space, present, one viewing it at Focus 15, immediate past, and one viewing it at Focus 21, immediate future.
3 people viewing the same target from present, past, and future perspectives.
Yes. Then debrief all 3 and meticulously compare the data gathered from these distinct temporal points, cross-referencing across time to filter distortion.
That's clever. Any other suggestions?
They suggested if the 3 go out of body together in the same environment, their consciousness energy systems might resonate, allowing them to tune into the same target on different planes more effectively, like a synchronized team.
Wow. Team OBEs. What else for the participants?
Strongly recommended encouraging full self-knowledge for everyone involved.
Know thyself. Why?
To enhance objectivity in OBE observation and thinking, and crucially, remove those personal energy blockages that impede progress.
Deal with your issues to see clearly.
Right. Also, be intellectually prepared to react to possible encounters with intelligent non-corporal energy forms when time-space boundaries are exceeded.
Prepare to meet non-physical beings. Yikes.
A necessary precaution, apparently. Furthermore, organizing groups in Focus 12 to unite their altered consciousness to build holographic patterns around sensitive areas to repulse possible unwanted out-of-body presences.
Collective psychic shielding using holographic projection.
A fascinating concept of collective mental defense. And finally, encouraging advanced participants to proactively build holographic patterns of success and rapid progress for their colleagues.
Mentally helping others succeed.
Assisting them through the system with a form of focused, positive intent or mental guidance.
Okay. That's quite a comprehensive and mind-altering picture.
It really is.
We've truly taken a deep dive today into an incredible declassified document. one that attempts to map out the very nature of consciousness.
And importantly, presented not as mysticism, but through the lens of physics, energy, brain science.
Exactly. We've journeyed from understanding how hypnosis tunes the right brain to the profound idea of the body becoming a resonant antenna for Earth's own energetic field, and ultimately to the mind-bending concept of consciousness itself as a holographic interaction with a universal blueprint.
This exploration raises a truly profound question for you, listening right now. If our consciousness is indeed theorized to exist beyond our physical body, and if reality itself is fundamentally a complex hologram of energy fields, what new radical possibilities does that open up for your understanding of self?
Yeah.
And more critically, what new capacities does it imply for your ability to influence the very fabric of your perceived world? What fundamental assumptions about your reality are being challenged by these concepts today?
That's the question to sit with. We hope this deep dive into this remarkable declassified analysis has given you a fresh perspective and perhaps a few new questions to ponder.
Definitely food for thought.
Keep exploring, keep questioning, and join us next time for another deep dive into the extraordinary.